Welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. President Trump participating in the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw at the Kennedy Center, and the president accepting the first ever FIFA Peace Prize. The suspect in the Washington, D.C. pipe bomb case is making his first court appearance today. Federal investigators announced a major breakthrough following his arrest. What we're learning. The Supreme Court rules that Texas is allowed to use its newly drawn congressional map. This would give Republicans an edge in the midterms. Plus, Florida is the latest to draw a new map. The government expects to roll out the Trump Accounts program next year. What potential long-term benefits could children see? We discuss with an analyst. Expecting parents could see changes to vaccine guidelines. A federal panel is now recommending that the hepatitis B vaccine should be delayed. A bipartisan group of senators introduces a bill to prevent the export of Nvidia's advanced chips to China. But could China still get around these restrictions through third countries?
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. President Trump attending the 2026 World Cup draw at the Kennedy Center alongside the Mexican president and Canadian Prime Minister. And the president as well accepting the first ever FIFA Peace Prize. Our Mari Otsu is live from the White House with the details. Mari, good afternoon.
Don, good afternoon. Yes, President Trump today is at the Kennedy Center participating in the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw alongside Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum and Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney. The president also confirming today that he'll be speaking with those two world leaders after the formal event concludes today, and he's expected to be talking to them about tariff and trades. And the U.S. is set to host several of these World Cup games next year, along with Mexico and Canada, with this being literally the biggest World Cup in history. We're now talking 48 different countries participating, which is expanded up from 32 in previous years. And today, the 48 teams are finding out who they are going to play in the first group round next year. And President Trump has made this World Cup a priority for his administration. He announced the so-called FIFA Pass in a meeting with the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, last month. That pass is going to give those with tickets to the games a priority visa appointment at any embassy. And Infantino today is also, for the first time, awarding President Trump with the FIFA Peace Prize. Take a look.
You definitely deserve the first FIFA Peace Prize for your action, for what you have obtained in your way, but you obtained it in an incredible way, and you can always count, Mr. President, on my support, on the support of the entire football community or soccer community to help you make peace and make the world prosper all over the world.
This is truly one of the great honors of my life. And beyond awards, John and I were discussing this. We saved millions and millions of lives. The Congo, as an example, over 10 million people killed, and it was heading for another 10 million very quickly. And it just, you know, the fact that we could do that.
This is coming just a day after President Trump hosted the leaders of the Congo and Rwanda here in Washington, where he facilitated the signing of a peace deal between the two countries. Infantino has also made it clear in the past that he thinks the president should get the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to broker the Gaza ceasefire deal. And meanwhile, First Lady Melania Trump, who was present at the FIFA World Cup draw, this morning, prior to that, spent her morning reading with kids at the Children's National Hospital in Washington, which is continuing on in a decades-long tradition for First Ladies during the holidays. And children are a top priority of Melania Trump's. This is coming just a day after the First Lady announced that 7 Ukrainian children who were abducted during Russia's invasion of their country have now been reunited with their families. This family reunification effort, the First Lady has been involved with since back in August, when she first sent Russia's President Vladimir Putin a letter on the plight of those Ukrainian children. Don, back to you.
Okay, Mari, thank you. President Trump today announced he has approved the manufacturing of tiny cars in the United States. Tiny cars are popular in many countries with dense cities and high fuel costs. In a Truth Social post, Trump wrote that manufacturers have long waited and long wanted to do this, similar to other countries. Trump said these vehicles can be powered by gasoline, electric, or hybrid technology. He described them as inexpensive, safe, fuel efficient, and urged manufacturers to start building them immediately. Trump thanked the Department of Justice, Department of Transportation, and the Department of Environment for their role in the approval. No details yet about regulatory changes, timelines, or which automakers are involved.
If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small, they're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars.
And the man suspected of planting pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. the night before January 6, 2021 is due to make his first court appearance today. The Virginia man, Brian Cole, will appear in a D.C. federal court to face 2 explosive-related charges. The charges carry a potential sentence of up to 20 years in prison. NTD's David Lamb has more on his arrest today.
FBI agents arrested Brian Cole Jr. and raided his home on Thursday morning in Woodbridge, Virginia. Officials identified Cole as the suspect in the pipe bombing attempt in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the events of January 6, 2021. He's charged with transportation of an explosive device in interstate commerce and attempted destruction with explosive material.
You're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away.
On January 5th, 2021, pipe bombs were placed outside the office of the Democratic National Committee, as well as near the headquarters of the Republican National Committee. Surveillance footage showed a person wearing a hooded sweatshirt and face mask, but no arrests had been made for nearly 5 years.
Brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads.
Investigators searched through more than 3 million lines of information, traced sales of materials that could have been used to make the bombs, and reviewed cell phone tower data to find the suspect.
There was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work.
On January 6, 2021, law enforcement found the 2 bombs as Congress convened in the Capitol to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election between President Trump and then-candidate Joe Biden. Neither of the bombs had detonated. The Bureau had offered a $500,000 reward for information in the case. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said that after he and Director Kash Patel took office early this year, they evaluated a number of high-profile cases and decided to push additional resources to the pipe bomb investigation.
We have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. And this case is big.
As the case is active and ongoing, officials have not yet revealed a motive. David Lamb, NTD News.
Federal investigators have quietly filed a criminal complaint revealing how credit card and bank data helped them zero in on the pipe bomb suspect. It outlines years of purchases that the FBI says match the components used in the explosive devices placed outside the headquarters of the Republican and Democratic national committees. Agents say suspect Brian Cole Jr. continued buying bomb-making materials even after the devices were discovered on January 6th. Investigators also tracked Cole's cell phone, placing it near both party headquarters during the same window the suspected bomber appeared on video. The charging documents say surveillance footage shows one individual planting both devices within minutes of each other on the night of January 5th. Despite the new details, authorities say they still aren't disclosing any evidence pointing to a motive.
Meanwhile, a federal grand jury has decided not to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James. This was the second time a grand jury has weighed charges against James. In October, the Justice Department secured an indictment against James on charges of bank fraud and making false statements on a loan application. But last month, a federal judge tossed out the charges, saying President Trump unlawfully appointed the prosecutor Lindsay Halligan as an interim U.S. attorney. The case centers around a property James bought in Virginia. She has denied wrongdoing. So far, no comment from the Justice Department, and it's unclear if prosecutors might try to indict her a third time. A bipartisan group of senators introduced a bill to prevent the export of advanced NVIDIA chips to China. Joining us to discuss is Rex Lee, cybersecurity advisor at My Smart Privacy and tech journalist. So, Rex, always great to talk to you. Thank you for joining us today. Can I just ask you, the bill blocks export licenses for at least 30 months. How meaningful is a 2.5-year block to counter China's AI advancement?
Well, it may be already a little too late. The Secure and Feasible Export Act, or Safe Chips Act of 2025, it looks great on paper. However, NVIDIA has been selling chips into China for several years now. One of the most concerning things about this case that maybe the Senate needs to investigate further is More Threads, which is a chip manufacturer headquartered in Beijing. It was founded by former NVIDIA executive James Zhang, possibly a dual citizen of the U.S. and China. But my fear is that these chips may have already been reverse engineered in China, because Beijing has already, or China has already banned the sale of certain NVIDIA chips into China already. One example is they forbid ByteDance from using NVIDIA's GPUs in their new data centers in favor of Chinese GPUs.
So, Rex, then what do you propose we do? If China's already getting these chips, how do we make sure the U.S. maintains its lead?
Well, there's several factors. It goes beyond the NVIDIA chips in the AI race. You have to consider the fact that all AI-infused apps and platforms such as DeepSeek AI or Alibaba Quinn AI, both developed in China, the AI that is used to develop those apps and platforms is basically US IP that has been shared with them by Google, Apple, and Microsoft. So all of these AI developers in China have to develop in either Android, iOS, which is Apple, or Microsoft Windows to have their AI infused apps and platforms such as TikTok or Tencent's WeChat or Alibaba Quinn or DeepSeek AI. To have those distributed globally, they have to have AI intellectual property shared with them by United States tech giants. So they're all intertwined. NVIDIA's GPU is what advances AI and can advance AI to generative AI and AGI and super AI in the future. Yet all of these companies and AI developers in China are dependent on US IP to have their AI platforms distributed globally. So what the Senate needs to do is also look at how China's AI-infused apps and platforms are distributed and developed. They have to be developed in Android, iOS, or Windows to be distributed. So that means that Google, Apple, and Microsoft have to share what's known as their software developer kits or their SDKs and their APIs with these Chinese developers to have their products developed. Also, these US tech giants are also making profits from the distribution of these AI platforms in China. So aside from sharing their IP with them, they're making money on the distribution of these AI platforms as well.
Okay, okay, Rex, what do you think plays a bigger role here? NVIDIA's AI chips or these SDKs that Google, Microsoft, and Android are giving to China?
Well, they're interconnected. The AI-infused apps developed in Android, iOS, or Windows, whether they're developed in the US, Spain, or China, or Europe, all have to be powered to be distributed, and that takes GPUs that can give them the power necessary to provide the AI apps and platforms that these services operate on. So they're all intertwined. One can't work without the other. One can't be distributed or developed without the other. So they're intertwined together. So if we look at our race with AI and China, we have to consider how we do business with China as a whole. If you're going to prevent NVIDIA chips from being sold in China, then you also need to include that Google, Apple, and Microsoft have to be banned from developing and distributing these AI-infused apps and platforms from China. In other words, Google, Apple, and Microsoft have to be also banned from sharing their SDKs for their operating systems and their apps and platforms that they share with these Chinese developers so that they can have them distributed through Google Play, Apple App Store, and Microsoft Windows App Store.
Okay, Rex, I also wanted to ask you, what are some of the applications that China is using for AI?
Well, again, all you have to do is look at DeepSeek AI. You have to look at Alibaba Quinn. You have to look at the fact that all apps and platforms, whether it's TikTok, Shein, Temu, or WeChat, or any of these other apps and platforms coming out of China, they're all being infused with AI today. They're all being upgraded with AI chatbots, and they're being distributed through Google, Apple, and Microsoft globally, not just in the United States or China. They're being distributed globally. So we have to look at, there's another factor involved here, and that's the ByteDance acquisition, Oracle ByteDance acquisition. That's tied to a bill that has been kicked down the can. I mean, a bill that's been put on the back burner by the Trump administration regarding the sale of intrusive apps and platforms from China in the United States.
Can China use its AI abilities in the military sector as well? What happens if China's AI ability surpasses the US?
Well, they're using American AI in Chinese military fusion program. So when the United States sells their apps and platforms in China, China has a military, a civilian military infusion program where they take that IP of all the technology that's being sold into their country, they can militarize that and weaponize that technology as well.
Okay, just final question. What happens if China supersedes the US in its AI abilities?
Well, you know, there's a couple of things on the horizon that they need to look at. Huawei has already developed Ascend Series 901B and 910C AI chips, as well as Barin, and then more threads, again, founded by former NVIDIA executive James Zhang, and Cambricorn is another Chinese AI developer. So you have all of this AI technology in China being developed. The only thing that separates them right now are the new chips that have not been released by NVIDIA, as well as the ability to mass produce these chips at the same rate that NVIDIA can. That's the only thing that's separating them, which is why ByteDance, they don't need NVIDIA's chips, but that's just one company. But the chips that they're buying in China, they still cannot be mass produced the way the chips are in the United States. So I think this bill needs to go much further and also include how Chinese AI-infused apps and platforms are developed, and they need to also enforce the Protecting Americans from Adversarial Controlled Applications Act. It's not the TikTok ban. It's Protecting Americans from Adversarial Controlled Apps Act, which is the law of the land that includes all intrusive AI-infused apps and platforms from China.
Well, okay, Rex, it's always great to speak with you. And by the way, that's a cool background.
Thank you.
Okay, we're taking a quick break now, but don't go away because we'll be back with more important news you don't want to miss.
A performance that truly matters for each and every one of us. This is what you've been waiting for. See it at least once in your lifetime. Shen Yun. Get tickets now at shenyun.com.
Behind every headline in Washington, there's a story that could shape your future. With the Capitol Report, you get more than just the news. You get direct access to the White House and the Capitol. Every day, we bring you exclusive interviews with lawmakers, analysts, and experts, plus in-depth coverage of the decisions being made in Washington, D.C. Broadcasting live from the nation's capital, you witness events as they unfold, straight from the heart of Washington, keeping you connected, informed, and always a step ahead.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Looking for the perfect gift this season? Get a new recliner from Mathis Home during the holiday savings event. They have hundreds of recliners from top brands starting at just $199. Take your pick. These genuine Lazy Boy recliners are holiday priced at just $485. It's your chance to save on the comfort and quality Lazy Boy is famous for, just $485. With our incredible selection, you're sure to find the recliner just right for you. They're all in stock, ready for fast free delivery during the holiday savings event at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
Republicans have a better chance to pick up 5 congressional seats in Texas during the midterms after the Supreme Court okayed the state's new map. Florida is the next one to act in a domino of redistricting around the nation. NTD's Melina Weisskopf has the details.
The midterms are looking more favorable to Republicans in Texas after the nation's highest court approved the Republicans' new map. GOP candidates will now have a better opportunity to flip Democrat seats in 5 districts. The Supreme Court ruled against a lower court that tried to block the map. Justices stated that the lower court violated the rules.
Effectively, the Supreme Court has indicated that states have free rein in situations like this, and that
the 5 potential gains in Texas could be offset by the 5 potential gains in California after voters approved a new map favoring Democrats. Now another southern state is gearing up to draw a new map. Florida lawmakers met yesterday to start the process. Several other states are working through redistricting too, all in a chain reaction to what started in Texas.
This is not going to be the last redistricting case brought to the Supreme Court. Other states will be challenged too.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court is still weighing a major Voting Rights Act case. The ruling could cause further shakeups to the nationwide battle for control of Congress. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskup, NTD News.
The vaccine guidelines for newborn babies could be changing. A federal advisory committee is now recommending that federal officials should stop directing parents to get their infants quickly vaccinated against hepatitis B, unless the baby's mother tests positive for the virus. The Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices voted on the matter today. The majority of the panel said the CDC should update its vaccine recommendations. They said because the safety and effectiveness of the data for the current recommendations are inadequate. The CDC's director typically adopts advice from the committee without any changes. Hours after a hearing in the Luigi Mangione case was canceled today, the Manhattan District Attorney released a 911 call placed by an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's manager. Here's some of the highlights from the video.
The cancellation paused a week-long evidentiary hearing that has focused on whether key statements and physical evidence will be allowed at trial. Attorneys were expected to continue debating whether Altoona, Pennsylvania police lawfully questioned Mangione and searched his backpack during his arrest. The hearing, already expected to stretch into next week, will resume at a later date. Court officials didn't elaborate on Mangione's condition, though.
Police in Kerrville, Texas, have released hours of 911 calls from the early morning of July 4th when catastrophic floods swept across Texas Hill County. Police warned that the call recordings could be disturbing, particularly for families affected by the floods.
First of all, I'd like to share that the information about to be released will be difficult for some families and those impacted by the flood to hear. We want to caution the public that what you will hear on these calls is distressing. Some callers did not survive. We ask that you keep them and their family members, loved ones, and friends in your thoughts and prayers.
Devastating flash flooding struck the early hours of July 4th. 136 people lost their lives. More than 100 victims died in Kerr County. The police chief said only 2 dispatchers were on duty when calls began coming in. They handled a total of 435 calls in 6 hours. Among the dead, 25 girls and 2 counselors from Camp Mystic. This is an all-girls Christian camp along the river. Last month, families of more than a dozen victims filed lawsuits against the camp and its owners. Today's commute could be rough for many along the mid-Atlantic. Winter weather advisors are in effect for more than 17 million people. Forecasters are calling for a quick blast of ice and snow, causing slick roads from the mountain sections to the I-95 corridor. Snow is already falling in parts of central Virginia and West Virginia, where up to 4 inches are expected. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore will also have frigid temperatures with some precipitation. The Pentagon has announced a new lethal strike on an alleged drug trafficking boat in the Eastern Pacific. U.S. Southern Command says War Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the mission, which resulted in the deaths of 4 suspected narco-terrorists.
The announcement came yesterday as Congress held closed-door hearings about a second U.S. strike on an alleged drug boat that killed 2 survivors. Senator Tom Cotton defended the operation, saying the military followed its written orders and that the strikes were both lawful and necessary. Democratic lawmakers described the classified video of the strike as deeply troubling, saying the individuals killed appeared to be stranded and unable to flee. Pressure on the administration continues to grow as Congress investigates whether the Department of War acted lawfully during that September operation.
Homeland Security has announced a string of arrests made in an immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis. DHS described those detained as the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens. The department says the ICE operation Metro Surge has been underway in Minneapolis since Monday. Many of those arrested are Somalian nationals. President Trump recently said he wanted illegal immigrants from the country deported amid a massive welfare fraud scandal. DHS says one arrest was a criminal illegal alien from Somalia who was a member of one of the largest street and prison gangs. Another alleged criminal had a conviction for sexual misconduct with a minor. Other charges people were picked up for include felony smuggling of aliens, aggravated assault with a weapon, and domestic violence. As the nation marks the start of the holiday season, President Trump used this year's national Christmas tree lighting to spotlight the National Guard, honoring 2 service members shot in the line of duty. The tribute comes as the administration moves to tighten immigration vetting and expand a travel ban. Here's more.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump officially began the countdown to Christmas in the nation's capital yesterday, lighting the national Christmas tree.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Trump used the opportunity to pay tribute to the National Guard, which he says has made D.C. a great place to live in.
And thank you to the men and women of the United States military, including the brave heroes of our National Guard here in Washington, D.C., where we've set a record for lack of crime in 28 years.
Trump also honored the 2 National Guard members who were shot last month. One of them, Sarah Beckstrom, died from her injuries. The other, Andrew Wolf, is in the hospital.
Andrew is hopefully getting better. He got hit hard defending us, and I just want to pay my respects to them, 2 incredible people.
Earlier that day, Trump met with the family of Andrew Wolf at the White House. In a post on X, Trump said Andrew is in the process of healing and called his family fantastic American patriots. Trump ordered all flags on public buildings to be flown at half-staff until sunset yesterday in honor of Sarah Beckstrom. Trump said he has invited her family to the White House as well. The suspect in the shooting, Afghan national Ramanullah Lakhanwal, is facing a first-degree murder charge. He made a virtual court appearance from his hospital bed earlier this week and pleaded not guilty. He's scheduled to appear for a preliminary hearing in January. The federal government, meanwhile, is tightening its vetting timeline for certain non-citizens working in the U.S., shortening work permits and increasing how often background checks take place. Immigration officials say this will ensure that those seeking to work in the United States do not threaten public safety or promote anti-American ideologies. Under the new rule, refugees and people granted asylum, among others, will undergo security checks 3 times more often than before. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem also told Fox News Thursday the administration has expanded its travel ban to over 30 countries.
I won't be specific on the number, but it's over 30. And the president is continuing to evaluate countries. Listen, if they don't have a stable government there, if they don't have a country that can sustain itself and tell us who those individuals are and help us vet them, why should we allow people from that country to come here to the United States?
In June, Trump signed a proclamation banning citizens of 12 countries from entering the country and placed restrictions on 7 others. Soon after the D.C. shooting, Trump said he would permanently pause immigration from what he called third world countries.
The government expects to roll out the Trump Accounts program next year. What potential long-term benefits could children see? We discuss with an analyst after this break.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around. And I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches? Ready? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You didn't turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, backpack kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
Let's go.
Honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutVaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
The government expects to roll out the Trump Accounts program next year. Joining us to discuss is Sean Carney, CEO of 40 Days for Life. So Sean, thank you very much for joining us today. Good afternoon to you. Does the creation of Trump Accounts show a strong focus and care about children, the next generation, by this administration, in your view?
Absolutely. I mean, even when Trump was running in 2016, he put an emphasis on increasing the child tax credit. His children were talking about having work programs so that women who wanted to stay at home had better opportunities to work from home and be at home with their children, which Trump has done in all of his companies as an employer. This just shows that if we don't have children, we don't have a country. And it has come to a head that we are in a demographic winter, particularly in the West. And America is dependent on immigration. We barely replace ourselves at 2.1 children per household. And we need all the incentives as possible. It's expensive to raise children, as everyone knows. And these accounts are great. They grow tax-free. And it's such a smart, logical thing for young parents.
Do you think this could help improve long-term outcomes for children in lower and middle income families? What are the potential long-term benefits that children could see?
Well, for sure, the initial investment of $1,000, you can go in and you can match that. You can contribute every year. You could take your child tax credit that you get from your kids and put it in there. It can be invested and it can grow, and it grows tax-free. It's just another advantage to help families like the child tax credit have children, because and I know people without children complain about these tax benefits, but the reality is we don't have a future as a country if we don't have children. And family is the foundation of Western civilization, much less the United States. And so we have to support these families, particularly middle income, low income families. These are great incentives. They're wonderful programs. And they give a little bit of a pat on the back to parents who are struggling to raise kids and pay for all their needs.
Can I just ask you, how focused is this administration on the idea of family compared to previous administrations?
Well, I mean, it's not even close. I mean, Donald Trump is the most pro-life president we've ever had by far, if you just look at the abortion issue. But just in regards to family, I mean, he tripled the child tax credit. People that say he's not looking out for families are crazy. And frankly, that's why he won places like Pennsylvania and Michigan. They listened to him. Those blue-collar states listened to what he said about, we're not going to ship jobs overseas. We're going to bring them back. We're going to give tax incentives for people who buy American cars. We're going to give tax incentives for people who have children or are trying to buy a house. He is extremely pro-family, as you see in his personal life. His kids are very close to him, and he's very close to his own children and grandchildren. And so he has definitely supported the family. This is a very positive thing. I'm glad that they're announcing this, particularly heading into the Christmas season. And we need more of this in America, because we are not replacing ourselves. We have a huge crisis in the West. And some of these other programs in Europe to incentivize people to have children have not worked. We need to do everything possible because we are going to have an economic disaster in this country if we're completely dependent on immigration for our jobs in the future.
And Sean, it appears that Trump's actions has had a cascading effect across America, maybe in the private sector, because we saw Michael and Susan Dell's donation, right? It marks the largest single philanthropic gift in recent U.S. history. So how do you see this?
It's so encouraging to see the Dell.
Yes.
Yeah, the Dell family giving that money. It just shows. There's also, I think it's fair to say, there's a little bit of fear here. I mean, what Elon Musk has been saying the last couple of years, which we as an organization have been saying for a long time, and sociologists around the world, half the sociologists in the world believe we are drastically underpopulated. And finally, Elon Musk started talking about it. Joe Rogan started talking about it. And all this garbage we were sold about the overpopulation in the 70s or 80s, it is coming to bite us in the rear end now, because we have generations of people who did not have children or had very few children. And you know, this is the Social Security crisis. This is so many other problems that we have because we don't have enough people in the future to support our jobs at all levels of our economy, much less just our population as a country.
Sean, what is your message to families whose main concern, perhaps, of not having children is the financial aspect?
Well, it just makes you normal. You know, I mean, I have kids. Many people have kids. The world doesn't end. It gets a lot better. And, you know, all the statistics show that a married couple with children is set up better to succeed economically and financially than single parents or people without children. And because there's that stability, there's that motivation. Not only does it bring the marriage closer, but it gives you focus and it gives you goals, and that's good for your workplace. That's good for your home life. And there's no greater joy than having a child. There's no greater motivation to get up and go to work in the morning and live your life as a decent person than having kids look at you and monitor you all day in your actions. So it's a beautiful life, and we need to get back to it.
Well, all right, Sean, great message. Great speaking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The European Union today fined Elon Musk's social media platform X $140 million for breaching the bloc's content rules. The bloc said the breaches could leave users exposed to scams and manipulation. FCC Chairman Brandon Carr denounced the EU's fine, saying, quote, Europe is taxing Americans to subsidize a continent held back by Europe's own suffocating regulations. The European Commission issued the decision under the bloc's Digital Services Act, also known as the DSA. It's the first time that the EU has issued a so-called non-compliance decision since rolling out the DSA.
X has indeed breached its transparency obligation under the DSA. This includes X's blue check mark. It deceives users. Anyone can pay to obtain the verified status, and X does not meaningfully verify who is behind it. It also includes X advertising repository, which does not work properly, and X doesn't provide effective data access for researchers.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow is ready to provide uninterrupted fuel supplies for India. Putin met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi today and signed many agreements.
As you saw, a substantial package of agreements between governments, agencies, and corporations has been signed. Many of them are aimed at expanding economic cooperation between Russia and India.
Putin is on his first visit to India in 4 years. He aims to boost trade with the top buyer of Russia's arms and seaborne oil. This comes as Western sanctions squeeze their decades-old ties. The visit comes as India is engaged in talks with the U.S. for a trade deal. New Delhi seeks to cut punitive tariffs imposed by President Trump over India's Russian oil purchases. The two leaders say bilateral trade will reach $100 billion before the target year of 2030. French President Emmanuel Macron said unity between Europe and the United States was key in the support of Ukraine. German magazine Spiegel earlier reported that the French president and German chancellor have voiced severe skepticism about U.S. efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Macron made the comment during his 3-day visit to China.
L'unité entre les Américains.
Unity between Americans and Europeans on the Ukrainian issue is essential.
Nous saluons et nous soutenons les efforts de paix qui sont faits.
We welcome and support the peace efforts being made by the United States of America. The United States of America needs Europeans to lead these peace efforts.
Next, an elderly Falun Gong practitioner in Sydney was left bloodied after being struck in the face with a glass bottle, amid growing concerns that the Chinese regime's repression is spreading overseas. Police say a man attacked 2 practitioners of Falun Gong during their morning exercises in a park and later assaulted a police officer.
The attack follows a series of violent and threatening incidents, including bomb and mass shooting threats that forced the cancellation of a planned documentary screening. There have also been reports that practitioners in Australia's capital city, Canberra, were pushed and hit by a pro-Beijing group during a Chinese official's visit. Falun Gong combines meditation with moral teachings based on truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, and has long faced running persecution campaign by the Chinese Communist Party since 1999. That's pressure that practitioners say is increasingly spilling beyond China's borders.
As New York Governor Kathy Hochul prepares for next year's re-election campaign, her former deputy chief of staff and go-to person for all things China, Linda Sun, is sitting through a weeks-long criminal trial. The U.S. government accuses Sun of acting on behalf of China in exchange for massive financial kickbacks. Prosecutors say messages between Sun and CCP-linked individuals show her bragging about arranging Governor Hochul's schedule to benefit Beijing. She also called her China native home in messages with the Chinese consulate in New York. NTD's Flora Hua has more.
Over the course of Linda Sun's 3-week trial, prosecutors have sought to convince the jury that Sun and her husband enriched themselves by doing Beijing's bidding. That's as Sun was working as a high-ranking aide to former Governor Andrew Cuomo and later Governor Kathy Hochul. In the Hochul administration, Sun was deputy chief of staff and a senior advisor on Asian-related affairs. During the trial, court-verified chat histories between Sun and the Chinese consulate in New York show that Chinese diplomats repeatedly asked Sun to arrange then-Governor Cuomo to visit China and attend Chinese events in New York. Sun responded that then-Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul was, quote, more obedient than Cuomo, and Sun could control Hochul's schedule. Messages also show how Sun told then Chinese Consul General Huang Ping that she coerced the governor's speechwriter to remove a section on the Uyghur situation in China. The U.S. government has accused Beijing of persecuting this ethnic minority group using forced labor. In the messages, Sun called China her native country more than once and said she can help her native country do more things. But it appears Sun behaved differently towards Taiwan. Court evidence, including digital records and government employees' testimony, indicate Sun turned down almost all requests from Taiwanese officials to meet with the New York governor. She also blocked a dinner invitation from former Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen to Cuomo. Beijing strongly opposes any official interactions between the U.S. and Taiwan. Justin Yu, a New York district leader, told us that Sun's case shows how a mid-level official can influence high-level exchanges between Tsai and Cuomo simply by blocking information. Other chat records show a Beijing-linked Chinese businessman directing Sun to arrange Hochul to visit China and to invite Chinese official delegations to New York. Sun managed to deliver on many of his requests. More strikingly, Sun allegedly forged Hochul's signature on Chinese officials' travel documents. Sun's efforts didn't go unnoticed by Beijing. Government evidence shows that Sun was appointed to be the chairperson of a Beijing-funded organization. She was also invited to high-level meetings the CCP arranged in Beijing for what they called overseas Chinese patriots. At one meeting, over 80 people from 45 countries gathered in Beijing. This is one way the CCP uses to influence overseas Chinese elites to advance its own agenda on the global stage. Flora Hua, NTD News.
Netflix has agreed to buy Warner Brothers Discovery's television and streaming business, bringing two of the industry's biggest players in film and TV under one roof. More news after this break.
I'm Jonathan Lawson. If you're 50 to 85, please listen closely. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. It's a rate lock for your life insurance that guarantees that once you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. Many policies you see don't have one, but you can get a lifetime rate lock from Colonial Penn. This plan was designed for people on a fixed income with coverage options that start at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. Your rate is locked in for life. Coverage can never be canceled, and your acceptance is guaranteed. You cannot be turned down because of your health. See for yourself. Call for an information kit and gift. Both are free with no obligation.
Call 1-800-624-6556 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-624-6556. 1-800-624-6556. Call now.
As we naturally age, many people are getting zero amount of this incredible and unique substance. That's when we start seeing an impact in our joints, skin, nails, and even our digestion.
People ask me, Dr. X, what is the #1 supplement I should be taking? My answer is multi-collagen protein.
People's reactions to me, people were like, what are you doing? What is going on? You look amazing. You have a glow about you.
What makes Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen stand out from other brands? 10 types of collagen. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised with vitamin C and probiotics. It's proven to reduce joint discomfort rapidly, continuously, and persistently. It improves the appearance of crow's feet after 4 weeks and improves skin tone after 8 weeks. And it promotes hair thickness, growth, and a reduction in hair breakage.
It has transformed everything from my hair. Like, my hair was starting to kind of just, come out, and I don't have that anymore. My skin feels amazing.
Call the number on your screen and find out how to get a free bottle when you order, plus free shipping and our 30-day money-back guarantee. And as a bonus, we will include Dr. Josh Axe and Jordan Rubin's revolutionary book, Multi-Collagen Makeover, free with your order, plus free shipping and free returns.
I have implicit trust in Dr. Axe because the plan worked. I'm living proof of it.
This is the collagen protein that is backed by clinical studies. It's what my family uses, it's what I use, and I know you're gonna benefit in a big way as well.
Love the results or get your money back. This special TV offer is not available in stores. Call the number on your screen or go online now.
Netflix is expanding its reach. The streaming giant struck a deal today with Warner Brothers Discovery to buy the Hollywood giant's studio and streaming business. And
the total price tag is $72 billion plus debt. The acquisition would bring two of the industry's biggest players in film and TV under one roof. Warner Brothers Discovery owns HBO television network, HBO Max streaming platform, and DC Studios. Is now splitting the company into a pair of publicly traded halves. Once that's finalized, Netflix will take the Warner section, while the other half, named Discovery Global, will keep its cable channels, including CNN. The combination of Netflix, HBO, and Warner Brothers will need a deep regulatory review in several countries, including here in America.
A Christmas tree from Norway was lit up in London's Trafalgar Square last night. It was part of a British tradition with roots in the Norwegian forest.
3, 2, 1.
The annual lighting ceremony, known as Britain's National Tree Show, highlights the history of the two countries' alliance. It signals the start of London's countdown to Christmas and is traditionally held on the first Thursday in December. Strings of lights have hung vertically following the Norwegian tradition. The tree will remain in the square until January 5th, also known as the 12th night of Christmas. It will then be taken down to be chipped and composted. In the North Pole, Santa is usually pulled by his team of loyal reindeer, but in Brazil, he's traded his animals in for a jet ski. That's right, at Rio de Janeiro's Copacabana Beach, Old St. Nick arrived by jet ski on a mission to bring joy to a crowd of children with different medical conditions.
We have children undergoing cancer treatment, children with neurological problems, autistic children, and we embrace all these children, and they don't see any difference. On this day, there is no difference. They play all day long as equals.
I loved it. For us, it's a way to get out of our routine, for her to play and interact. Because I live in a poor community, there's not much to do there. And where there's an opportunity like this, I don't let it pass. Isadora loves it.
The event was organized by the city's firefighters and local nonprofits who helped give gifts and spread the festive cheer to the dozens of children. The project aims to give children with cancer, disabilities, and rare diseases an opportunity to take part in spreading Christmas cheer. Meanwhile, a baby fur seal was safely returned to the wild after wandering into a bar in Richmond, New Zealand, startling customers and staff. Security camera footage showed the animal, initially mistaken for a dog, dashed under tables. The baby seal made its way into the bathroom as one customer tried to guide it out with his jersey. Bar owner said the seal stayed inside the pub for around 30 minutes. It was eventually lured into a dog cage with salmon pizza topping and returned to the wild by authorities. A judge is unsealing grand jury records from the Jeffrey Epstein case in Florida. When will the transcripts be made public? We have more news after this break.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy.
This holiday season, thousands of young people are homeless. They're hungry, cold, and afraid. Covenant House is helping young people with nowhere else to turn. But the need is overwhelming. Please call or go online now with your gift of just $19 a month, only 63 cents a day, and your first month's gift will be matched. Your urgently needed gift provides hot meals, safe shelter, medical care, and love every day.
I have no words to express how Covenant House changed my life.
Please call or go online now and give just $19 a month. We'll send you this comforting blanket as a reminder of the love you're showing a young person this holiday season.
Without the Covenant House, I honestly could not tell you where I would be today.
You want to know that there's somewhere you can go that's safe. So the Covenant House did that for us.
Show a young person they are not alone this holiday season. Please don't wait. Call or go online now to safeplacetosleep.org and your first month's donation will be matched.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset, Queen 17.